board resigned. So I've got 4 recommendations. You want me to give them all to you?
These are 4 openings and 4 recommendations.
There's actually 5 openings. I have 4 recommendations.
And you have 4 names, and that's all the applicants we have.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're good. Why don't you just give us all 4?
And then if you want to break it down.
Sure. Sure. Let's. We're going to have less people than we have positions. I don't.
So I'm going to make this confusing, but not intentionally, because each position has.
Well, we wouldn't expect anything different.
Yeah.
So not necessarily just from you. That sounded wrong, but we're always confused. Sorry, that sounded wrong.
The terms of each of these are different. Okay, so the first position would be Anissa Wardell to fill a term that expires in 2020. These are 5-year terms, and so the term that she's filling has been empty for a little bit.
What was her name?
Anissa
Wardell. She's currently a alternate member.
So this would be a full-time.
So this would be moving her to a full-time position in that. The next one is Mary Duggan. That term would go to 2024.
Mary currently serves on the fire advisory.
Right, and she is also an associate member on Board of Adjustment currently.
So she moves to full-time as
She
well.
moves to full-time. Brad Lyle to fill term to 2024. And then for a associate member, Ezra Segura, term to 2018.
Does he know that?
Okay.
Or 18, that's his next year. What was it?
So those are the 4 applicants we have. So that leaves us with an associate member open.
Does.
And that takes all of the applicants we have and places them. And that's your recommendation, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, any discussion on the recommendation or any reason that anyone would need to go into closed session to discuss personnel on these folks for the recommendation? If not, we'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept Mr. Davis's recommendation for these individuals for Board of Adjustment positions and associate positions
As
as presented.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Crippen, second by Mr. Farrell. Any discussion on the motion? We will proceed to vote. Mr. Nelson.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item, Soldier Hall, the Olympic Community Advisory Board is being put together. They're requesting a county council member be part of this, so you should discuss them amongst yourselves.
You've been on there before. You've already been to our workshop.
So however you want to work that, he just came to me and asked me to facilitate.
Do we need to do that here, or can we just assign someone like we normally do?
I think you can just assign
Anybody got a burning desire?
Well, I don't, but I would mention that they've asked me to be on it with my railroad also.
So you're going, in that capacity you will be?
Yeah.
And you're okay with doing what you've been doing? Has anybody got an issue with that? Perfect, great.
Thank you.
It's just an advisory to talk about what they're doing and how we can.
Well, I think the idea of putting this new board together is to better reach into the community as they look at potential future Olympic opportunities and
Education
other
opportunities, you know, they
And
talk
I think,
about that.
I think too, they're trying to get more community involved,
Yeah, collaboration.
more activities over there for the community to enjoy.
So they're reaching out. I mean, this is I think it's a good thing. The next item, we have had the discussion about some changes, proposed changes in the assessor's office, and one of that facilitated a change in the motor vehicle. And so I've been down working with Dave Van Wagner. We've looked at what the potential of the wall in that office would be. I offer to you a potential alternative, and that would be to move Claire out of his office, which is actually the largest office on that side, it's bigger than my office, up to next to Jamie, and make that office the DMV. And as talking with the DMV people, they really liked that. They felt they would have more usable room with that than where they're at.
So you put a counter of
We would
sorts?
have to put a counter in.
Can't that counter just move?
I don't know. We can look at that and see. We'd have to have one of those things that lifts up, so we'd have a counter all the
Does
way
the,
across. but-
Perfect.
That sounds like a good recommendation. How is that Claire? Like it?
Claire's fine to move.
You put him in the, where the secretary used to be, or in the office?
Comptroller or the county
Comptroller
council
area.
office?
The comptroller area. And if we need to redo that, we have some other space that, for when our comptroller guy comes. He isn't here that often, but when he's here.
If they like it, I like it, quite honestly.
And if it's okay, why don't I'd like to make a layout first.
Sure.
Of what it would be and everything, and make sure that everything fits okay. And then
I think it's important that they like it.
What about Claire in that small conference room instead of, so we don't have to come into this deal to get our mail and all that? Is that a potential? How often is that?
We don't have to if we use the right door. We just do it by habit.
No, you gotta, well, sometimes we run out of, mics is locked.
We can figure that out.
we can look at that, we could switch that
Put our
around.
mailboxes in the
Switch
other
it around, put the mailbox in the other way.
Jamie's got a suggestion.
Claire uses a lot of space, has a lot of files. I suggest we move your mailboxes, since they take up that much room,
Yeah.
to somewhere else.
Yeah, that's easy.
That's fine.
That's easy. We can do that. Yeah.
Like in that
I think
conference
if
room.
you look
If I
at
could
Claire,
let
Little
those guys
guys.
arrange anything, if that sounds feasible, let me get the drawing done and what it would take, and maybe we can move the existing.
the less we have to do with it, the better. Just tell us where to pick up our mail.
Okay,
How about that?
I could do
Is that
that.
fair, guys?
I guess, well, that'd be part of the fine.
Because we'll mess it up. We'll put stuff in the wrong spot if we start
$1,000
deciding.
to have it under the-
We get a lot of snail mail.
There's actually a pretty good sized storage in the back of that office. And then the rest of their storage is where the old drunk tank was. So,
Okay.
didn't see an issue with either of those.
We'll pick up our mail.
I like it.
And then I've got two items, property and personnel,
Okay.
for closed session.
Okay.
You got on here, special video recording.
Oh, Dawn. Dawn's here.
Oh,
I do.
we'd hate to have had Don sit here that whole time and then not hear from him. Please, Don.
Always good to learn a little bit.
Sorry, Dawn.
From who?
You're fine.
We learned from him.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be done.
Mike had come to me and asked about putting together an agreement for the special service districts to use the video service of the county and such. I have not put the agreement together. I wanted to go over with you kind of what would be required for that to happen, make sure you're all in agreement. And if you are, then we'll drop the agreements and give them to use with the district's assignment. The current video system works very well. The only issue we have is the current video system is built around the county structure and the county's agenda system and things like that. So these other special service districts are separate entities in certain ways. I can't break them out and give them their own little video service or their own little agenda service. They'd have to utilize the county's agenda service. We can do that.
Since it's held in this room, the actual videoing of the meeting is not the issue. The issue is making sure that we get the data put right.
Yeah, there are two ways we can do video, right? One way is we can have the SSDs come in and just video their own stuff, put it up on YouTube, utilize the two cameras that we have. They'd have to work with us to make sure that that all takes place and things like that. And they'd have to have somebody on their side who would be able to do all that. Or, as we had talked about Mike, is using the agenda system of the county and actually having their agendas posted on our website, just like the county council agendas are. Having the videos posted with the same links and such, with the idea that it becomes more of a one-stop shop for the citizens of Wasatch County when they're looking for county-related meetings. It's all there. We bring planning commission in, board of adjustments, and then the
Do we have any legal issues with that? That you would know of?
As long as we do a contract so that
As long as we keep them, I mean, I know know, we've talked a lot, we need to make sure we keep them separate minutes, separate meetings,
There's
separate.
a cost involved, so they would have to pay the
Well,
cost.
I've talked to our provider, and our provider says as long as these are meetings that are held as a responsibility of Wasatch County Council or county government that you oversee, there's no additional cost in terms of
They can use the
licenses.
software.
There would be some potential minor costs by giving them access into the system so that they could do their agendas on our system and such. But most of the SSDs already have that access because they participate in the building permit review process. So with very few exceptions would we be adding any expense there.
What about additional cost for additional storage space? Is that going to tax that?
Not right yet, not now.
So what timeline is quick, if
Yeah,
we choose to do that?
Yeah, let me kind of explain how this would work. Basically, the agreement would require each SSD to have an agenda login. So there would be a login to our agenda management system for each SSD, just like Michelle has an agenda login. They would then have to go into the management system and create their own meetings. Just they basically doing everything Michelle does for your county council meetings, the SSDs would be responsible for. So they create their own meetings, they would add their own agenda items, they could add their own supporting documentation, they would have to publish their own meetings, just like Michelle does, publish their own documentation, things like that. So they'd have full use of the agenda system, but it would be a separate configuration for them as opposed to the county council.
This is different from what they do.
Right.
It's just something
So
they-
it would be totally different for them. It would
For
be a
them.
Add-on.
learning curve for them, for lack of a better
Absolutely,
term.
absolutely. Now, when we get to the recording, once that's all set up and they're functional, when we get to the recordings, what's going to happen is you do a series of SSDs, as I understand, kind of one right after another. It's going to take about 10 minutes between meetings. So when you finish, like, for example, solid waste, and you want to go into fire, we're going to take a few minutes to have to shut down the video for the solid waste meeting, and then just a few minutes to get the video set up for the fire meeting, right?
Or parks.
So hopefully we get that down to 5 minutes, but I'm just telling you 10 right now to plan on, because you got to shut it down, we got to bring it up. We also do the audio recordings still. And so we would do the same thing when they do their audio recordings and such. So you have to understand that there'd be a little gap between your meetings.
Plus people, just like on the county, after the meeting was published, they could click on the agenda item and hear that piece of the recording, just like they do on.
Exactly right. But with the SSD people sitting at that desk, they can link the items and as far as here's the video when the video starts for this item, here's when the video starts for this item. It would be fully functional just like the county council video system. If we go the YouTube route or something other than the county agenda, all they're going to do is get the video. And then they're going to have to watch the whole meeting to try to find that agenda item they were interested in. Right? The meetings would all be available on the county's website, just like your county council meetings are. They would still have to post to the state notice site because that's a legislative requirement, but that wouldn't change. And on their websites, if they wanted to have links to the video, we couldn't put the video right into their website, but they could link back to our agenda page, and then people would be able to click
So
on
there
those
are two
agendas.
places people could get to them if they wanted to.
Exactly, right? So and then the last thing I wanted to bring is the fact that we would have to train them. So the SSDs would have to commit to have at least 2 people that were available and trained so that they would understand how this works. We would support them on the day of the meetings in case there's an issue with the computers. The one thing I want to make clear though is we are not here to build their agendas for them or to maintain their agendas, right? I mean, you can't have them calling up, 24 hours before saying, hey, can you quickly put this on our agenda for our next meeting?
They need to know how
I
to.
can't have the IT department doing that. So, but beyond that, everything else could be fully available to them.
They can do all of that remotely.
Yeah, like I said, they participate in the building.
As long as that's a login,
They just log
they
in.
can log in and put that on, just like I can, or Michelle can.
Exactly. That's very doable. I just want you to understand the process. If you're in agreement, we'll write up the contract and the SSD sign it, we'll give them the credentials and they can do
Would
it.
we want 10 minutes between each of those
No,
SSD meetings?
no, we don't, but I like the idea, I just do,
I do
I think
too.
anytime, yeah.
I think it,
I think the issue's gonna be getting the people, a couple of people in each district brought up to, up to speed doing it. Or they're gonna be after Dawn's people and Michelle,
And that's that's like I said, that's the big worry is
they've got
that
their own
from the
responsibilities.
get-go, our answer will be no, you need to take care of yourself.
Okay, thank you, Dawn. Appreciate the update, and I think we'll get back with you, and as we meet with our SSDs, we need to make sure that, we understand what we want to do. Yeah. Did you have a comment?
I do. You're probably wondering why I'm still recording. It's because there's no way to download your videos off your website onto a computer or off the website. Is there a way you can change the settings on that so that the public can actually download a video off the site?
You can, you have to use a different tool. It's that up and running. The problem is I gotta go through and name them better, because right now, unless you understand the naming convention, it won't make sense. We have a public documents lookup page where you can go and download council minutes or deeds and things like that.
Yeah, I don't want paperwork. I want the video.
It's that same lookup, only there you go to the county video, county council video.
Right.
And then you can search by the time you want, and then you download. They come out as flash files, and you're able to watch them on your computer then. So
And can that be downloaded onto YouTube?
it can
off
be
of the
pushed up-
flash?
It can be pushed up to YouTube. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a flash file off of the online document side of the website?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the update. We'll get with our SSDs and make sure that they understand what we want and see if we can get a couple people from each SSD that get assigned to do that.
Okay,
So
so I
that we're not
should proceed with
taxing.
the agreement then,
I
right?
think so. Well,
It wouldn't hurt to start putting
I
that
think we need
together.
to start looking at it. We'll get our managers to make sure they understand what we want.
Okay, well, and just one other thing, just so you're clear, this isn't an all or nothing. So if you decide to bring them on individually or such,
If one's
that's
more
doable.
prepared to jump in it right now, we can start with
Absolutely,
one.
it isn't like they have to do it all in one
It's
go.
much nice to understand it. There's really no cost involved, the logistics are pretty good, they're legal, there's nothing there. It's just
Yeah, it might not make sense to
5-10
do.
minutes to kind of get it to.
It might not make sense to do Strawberry Lakeview,
Right.
but it didn't make sense to do.
We could do.
Fire, Parks and Rec, fire.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Don, appreciate it. Any other questions or comments before we go into closed session?